Kosha, what's going on at Columbia University? I mean, it has gone around the world. Ayan Hirsi Ali, human rights activist, we know her well. She's put a post out on X. She says, for a second, imagine that black students at Columbia were taunted, go back to Africa. Or imagine that a gay student was surrounded by homophobic protesters and hit with a stick at Yale. But that's what's happening to Jews, isn't it?
It is. It's quite a stunning picture. I think Columbia has become sort of ground zero for this, but it's spreading out elsewhere at Yale, at NYU, etc. There's basically about 200 protesters that have formed this encampment at Columbia outside the WestLawn. About half of them, 108 of them, were arrested for trespassing without incident, and 2 of them for obstruction of government administration, one of whom actually is the daughter of sitting Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. So that sort of, makes this issue spill out into the political arena even further. In terms of why it's happening, I mean, we've talked about this before, that there's so many dynamics that are almost like a petri dish at these universities over there, where there's the impact of immigration and importing some of these allegiances that are spilling out. There's sort of this coddling culture that's happened at these universities. There's the way protests, I think, were amplified and supported during the summer riots with BLM. I think that culture is carrying over, and you just have weak leadership at the top of the university, and all those things put together is leading to some pretty stunning and outrageous stuff that we're seeing.
Hey, Nick, over in the UK, we've talked about the Hilary Cass report, where she's debunked a lot of these gender affirmation treatments. She says they're not looking after young people. She has now been unable, basically, to get out in public. She can't use public transport. She's got difficulty leaving her home, all because she conducted a thorough medical review of the so-called trans science. J.K. Rowling, of course, out there defending her. But this is shocking.
It's absolutely shocking, Peter. And what we're up against here is a very, very organised, ideologically driven transgender movement in working in concert with people with a huge financial interest in this. There's a whole new school of medicine and surgery, which and pharmaceuticals for that matter, that are making a killing out of promoting the transgender amongst children. Now, that's when you get the powerful combination of ideologues and people who can make a buck out of it. That's when you get this really vicious cancel culture and everything that goes with it. I mean, we saw the same with COVID, and we see the same, of course, every day with climate change. That's what we've got here, and we have to really break this, because it's, we know what this is doing to our teenage kids, and we know what it's doing to our society.
Spot on, Nick Cato. Kosha, what's the latest in the Donald Trump hush money trial?
So the trial has officially commenced. Opening statements have been made, and all eyes are on what the impact of this is going to be on the election, really. And we just don't know, because this never happened in the history of the Republic. There's 2 dynamics, where either it's galvanizing people who just see this as a show trial and a bastardization of the legal system, or it's going to make Trump a little bit untouchable to some of those folks who just won't be able to vote for a convicted felon. That's going to run its course, and we'll see how it unfolds before November.
And it's running on every news bureau across the country, so it's free advertising for him if you're listening, or if you've had enough, well, maybe you're not.